Hi, I'm Kanika, the founder and CEO of Mindcog, a market research company. I'm very excited to welcome our today's guest, Mr. Harit Mohan, the founder and CEO of Signicent, a company that pioneers in the field of technology, innovation, patent research, market research, and intellectual property. Hi, Harit.
Hi, Kanika. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for coming and thank you for making time for us.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here.
In today's podcast, we want to talk about the importance of marketing for B2B companies. So let's get started. So Harit, to begin with, I would like you to obviously start with your journey from Dolcera to Signicent, because I'm sure that's the number one question in everyone's mind.
Yeah. So Dolcera happened to me when Dolcera was actually not my first employer. The journey starts a little even before Dolcera. So when I passed out from the college, we're talking about the year 2008. And I got placed for the first time. This was in Mumbai, my first company, which was known as Pangea 3, now Clarivate. And then, it got, the merger happened and so on and so forth. And it was a very short stint journey. It was about a 1.5 month, like a summer day outside today. And one fine afternoon, like employees, we go out after lunch, and then all of a sudden the HR called us that when the training ho gaya hai, then what's next? So we were all kind of pumped up, thinking that the training has happened, everything has gone so well. So let's go and they will either post us or we'll get some pat on the back or something like that. But we were kind of given pink slip that day, which means that we were asked to leave. So that's how my career started in the industry. That's how the IP or the patents industry started. And this was 2008 recession we're talking about. And then happened that I worked for some time in sales and understood how does the international business development happen, how does this marketing and all comes in picture. After that, gradually, 10, 11 years, 12 years, it took us to where we are today. And that's how, the things happened. So.
Very interesting. So it's like when you were faced with a challenge at a very early age, that sort of pushed you to take a even bigger challenge.
Yeah, let's say multiple challenges in the early phase, just not one, but yeah, there were a series of events that kept on happening. So after Dolcera, I was called in to open another research company in Jaipur. We did really well, but unfortunately that didn't work out. So I worked there for like 2 years as, so to say, a possible co-founder, but that didn't happen. They ditched us and so on and so forth. So then I came back. I thought I'll take it on my own. So that also happened after Dolcera. So things kept happening in the first 3-4 years. It was not at all an ideal start of the career that you would expect after, right after a good college like IIT, so that's how it started. But, I don't think it went bad. Everything came with a good lesson. I took up the challenge and that's how it went. Yeah.
Very interesting. So one challenge after another, but that did not deter you and you actually took the plunge into entrepreneurship.
Somehow you can say that. I kept trying it. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, now that you've already told me the set of challenges that you faced, I was actually going to come to that, you entered a very crowded space.
Yeah.
So how did you think of that how would you differentiate yourself? Are you entering a very crowded space already?
Yeah. No, I think it was not that crowded like a decade ago when I was starting off. I often, when I talk to my senior managers, senior team in my office, I always say people who are now entering are taking a very, very late bus. I think I took or Signicent took probably the second last bus, if not the last bus into this area. Somebody who's trying to do analytics, patent analytics now, I'm not sure, unless they have like something really disruptive, they may not be able to pull it. They may not grow beyond a certain level. And this is what I'm talking by and large, not like I'm not targeting any specific set of organizations, but you really need to have something good, disruptive, to still stay relevant in the space. And the heat is kind of, increasing, as you say. But if you have great product, great differentiators, of course, then you can always capture some part of the market.
I agree with what you're saying. And we actually see a lot of these services shops now that have mushroomed, basically. Everybody's an entrepreneur. Everybody says, I have an agency. Oh, I do research, etc. How do you think it has changed for a B2B services company from then to now, if you talk about marketing or, how are they standing out, basically?
So I'll take this question in two parts. First question is that building upon what I just said, that, how does B2B from the client's perspective, how do they pick up when there is crowd in this space? As you said, it's getting crowded day by day. And that's where marketing, branding, your visibility comes in the picture. I think that's how, it's really important for you to stay relevant in this era. The second part is, while marketing can bring you your first customers when they start scrolling a lot on your social or see your presence at conferences and some of these things. But if you do not have a good product, at the end, it goes to the good team and good product that you should have to, make sure that after first project, it becomes recurring business. You need not go for, fish hunting every day. The delivery package should come right on at your door. So that's where, the project should keep knocking your door again and again. So from marketing, or let's say to opening the door to, keep having that surplus and flow so that you do not worry, is a journey itself. And that's where the entire thing comes in picture. Yeah.
So, you're saying that it's about you yourself aware that this is what I do.
Yeah.
Then you have to capture the trust to get the first project, and then you have to do more to actually retain them for longer.
Absolutely. I think the journey would be like that. So as it is, said that you could do a hunting or a farming, right? Hunting is you get your first, client, but then to farm it for the years to come is another skill. So to do that, it has to be a balanced approach. You cannot just focus on one approach at a time. Both teams are relevant. This requires a different kind of training to your resources also. And a client should understand that what is the need, how well you understand. With the changing landscape, I think what you're realizing is it's just not that a problem statement should come to you and you will solve it. The industry is changing in a way that clients expect you to tell what the problem statement is today.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's where, the experience and this seasoned entrepreneurship or a very senior leadership team and its importance comes into the picture today, Kanika. Yeah.
So there are a lot of questions actually that have come to my mind from that answer. So I think I want to pick up the first one.
Yeah.
We've already covered that, it was easier, possibly relatively easier, at least maybe a decade ago or 12 years ago. And now it's way harder.
Yeah.
So of course, you've built a brand, you've built a very big company. Your employees also become your brand ambassadors. You already have some clients who, who've been working with you. Outside of it, do you think that earlier you did not have to think so much about marketing and sales, and like now you have to put in more effort? How that has changed, because the environment has also changed. Technologies have changed.
Very, very relevant question, Kanika. I think 10 years ago when we started, at least I started like 12, 13 years ago in this particular field. 13 years ago, competition was very thin. Whatever you used to pitch to your clients, they would buy it. And I remember doing my first sales for like $20,000-$30,000. And I was less knowledgeable, like 2 साल का experience था. तब भी 20-30 हज़ार में मांग लेता था और client दे देते थे. To get that kind of money now, despite so much experience, despite having such good people in your team, is really, elevated uphill task. And that's where, as I said, you need to really keep your clients engaged with a really good quality product. You need to tell them what's happening in the space before somebody else tell them. So it has become more proactive space now as compared to what it was 10, 12 years ago. So I think proactiveness at your level is much important now as compared to what it was 12 years ago when you used to get an email or a cold call would have done.
Would you elaborate a little bit on the marketing side specifically? Like, are there activities that you do now on a consistent basis which did not even exist back then?
No, absolutely. I think with the changing landscape of marketing, as I said, initially when we used to, 12 years ago, 10 years ago, when we used to do this, cold call would have been sufficient for us. And that's what we've hired few people on. Just reach out people, make some connects, maybe go occasional conferences, and that should be enough. Now, I think you need every possible tool in marketing. You need to, send some newsletters which are just not generalized one, maybe industry specific. Make some information that will, help your clients take a very informed decision that stands you apart from the crowd. Keep meeting them on some of these events beyond their offices sometimes. Keep, keep your social media alive, keep putting in relevant information. So for example, if you're working in robotics, if you're working in the agriculture sector, if you're working in sustainability, which is really hot today. So you need to keep posting some very relevant content, and when researched content. It's just not, it should be something very basic in nature, because, the clients that we work with, or at least this industry caters to, are really well educated, highly talented attorneys, sometimes CTOs, sometimes we're talking about VPs, AVPs, sometimes we're talking about CEOs directly of small to mid-sized companies. And to get their attention span, already we have 100 tasks or 100 firefighting things today. If by chance my content is going to them and I cannot grab their attention is those 30 seconds that I've got, I have probably lost his attention span. So, the effort that goes to the marketing is just not showing your presence by, let's say, a Christmas message on your LinkedIn, or, showing a Happy New Year message on LinkedIn is not going to work. You have to, get a very matured marketing team to make sure that whichever industry that you're catering to, you should have really specific pointers being posted to them. And the second point is, Kanika, there has to be a thin line between how much you should do, because if you start doing it daily, then also they get disturbed. So you have to make sure, we get call every third day, you and I get call on our mobile phone, buy this, and said, boss, we know that you're there. If there's a requirement, we will take it.
Yeah.
So that's another part, that marketing should not also be overdone sometime. It has to be within the confined limits. So, and that is where a lot of research has to go in it, that which industry you are catering to, how much is considered sufficient, and, you do not get into their veins. And then it will basically do everything negative of whatever you're trying to do positive.
Yeah. So it's like a thing. So you have to do it.
Yeah.
It has to be effective. It has to be relevant.
Yeah.
And you can't overdo it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. You mentioned something about social media.
Yeah.
And I want to bring this up because today, even, I'm in market research business. I need so many clients who come to me, okay, will you help draw our sales and all? And when I'm listening to the entire story, I feel like what you have is a marketing problem.
Yeah.
It's not a market research problem actually necessarily. And I think somewhere companies who are in the B2B sector, they still think that social media is not for them. Social media is for somebody who's selling you a soap or a dress.
Yeah.
So would you elaborate on that what is the importance of social media even for a B2B services company? Or
No, it's a very valid point, Kanika. I think, it depends. For example, Signicent took a call to have a really good marketing or a social media team once we are at least done 5 years of our work. A lot of companies, including when I opened up this company, we thought that, marketing and social media management is a luxury department to have. It's not a department that you cannot live without, or a company can not run without. So your initial basic departments will always be having hand ops team or a sales team, and then probably an accounting guy, an HR department. So once you've done your basic rights, then the fifth department that you think is, let's have a social media team. A lot of time people kind of also outsource this activity to a third party, so to say. Again, having this marketing team, what to do on the market research side is really important as the days are progressing, especially too much space. I think we get flooded with reels on Instagram or, LinkedIn messages, sponsored messages, day in, day out now. How do you stand out is the question. So your clients who are thinking, this is not still needed, probably they have to rethink. I think 5 years back, they could have still thought, is it needed or not? Can we postpone it? Now it's not possible. Now is the change time. Now you have to do it, at the very beginning of the space, and it has to be very smart, because if you do not have funds to do it repeatedly, then you should use, technologies like AI. You should use some of the automated techniques, but again, with the caution, everything that it throws out is also not relevant either. So, while it could increase your speed, it could save you some money, but it is inevitable now. You have to do it.
Yeah, I think social media is like the ISI stamp.
Yeah. It has become, but let's say we have seen some scams also. People only on social media and do not have good product. We have seen stories going south also.
Absolutely.
So have a good product and tell your customers we have a good product.
Right. You did touch on this earlier as well, that it's all about great execution.
Yeah.
But marketing is now a must. Now you can't say, oh, I'll start doing marketing 5 years. Let me just start getting. Nobody will give you work without
Nobody will
marketing.
give you work. Yeah. How would somebody know about it? Who are you basically in this space, right? If I'm a good cook, I bake excellent pastries or cake. But if the world doesn't know about it, only I'll eat it. So maybe my neighbors will eat it at the max. If you want to expand your horizon, if you want to build a brand, marketing cannot be ignored today. You have to go out, build a brand out of it. People spend multi-millions each year. You've seen IPL is going on. How much? Even if there are companies which do not have good product, are still marketing, right?
Absolutely.
We've seen that. So at whatever scale we are, you are, we have to keep trying our best and then gradually think that at least good amount of budget keeps going into such activities. And as I said, 10 years ago versus now is a different ball game altogether.
You touched upon something very important, and I think it's very true that fortunately or unfortunately, if you keep seeing a brand popping up somewhere, people just by default start thinking it must be good. That's why I can see it everywhere.
Absolutely.
It may be completely trash,
Absolutely.
but we keep seeing that. And I think that's the impact of marketing.
Absolutely.
So it just goes to say that it's sort of inevitable right now.
Absolutely. No, I think just to reiterate what you said, I think when I also talk to my sales guy or marketing guy in the office, I think with the first exposure, you get oriented. With the second exposure, you start thinking about a brand. With the third exposure, if you have a need, you will actually end up buying it. So the exposures have to be given in a way that you are there in somebody's mind. When they have a need, they should pick you. And I think that's how marketing works. If you think today I make a post on LinkedIn and this will attract me 100 customers, I'm sorry, I think that's not going to happen. But if you keep doing it in a disciplinary way, if you keep posting it in a way that your clients are well aware that you're there, and this has happened to me actually. I'm a living proof. We worked for a client, for example, 3 years ago. He left that big organization. He joined somewhere else. We lost touch. Because our sales thought he has left the company. I'm not sure we will be relevant. 3 years down the line, it just happened few weeks ago. He reached us, Harit, do you remember that you guys have met me and I keep seeing what you keep posting on your LinkedIn. I've joined a new employer in the US here. We would like to start working with you again, and we just did a master service agreement with them. This will again go for years to come now. So, of course, we've served him well in his previous company. And then he kept seeing me or my company's post. He recalled when he had a need. He reached us back to me. And this has just happened. So whatever I'm telling is not for the sake of it. It's actually happening. It has happened with me multiple number of times.
Yeah, credibility.
Yeah.
So this is something I often tell my clients, and they say engagement is not coming. I said it's not about the engagement. You have to keep doing it every day. Don't focus on how many people are liking it, how many people are engaging with it.
Yeah.
People are reading, they may not be engaging.
Exactly.
So you may not see them in form of likes or comments, but it continues to build credibility when you keep showing up again and again. Keep posting relevant content, like you said.
Absolutely.
That is very important.
Yeah.
Now that we touched upon the importance of how marketing is inevitable, I also want to go slightly deeper and ask you another question, which you and I fundamentally understand. What is the importance of market research in creating a marketing strategy, in thinking of positioning yourself as a brand, no matter what industry you're in?
No, absolutely. I think market research is really important. As you and I were chatting, for every small decision that we take, we generally go to laptop and see about it, that we are taking an informed decision.
Yeah.
When it is business, which is your bread and butter, which runs so many families in your office and runs your own family, if you're not well educated of what you're proposing, how this segment is growing, I know all attitude generally do not work. We will be surprised. We bill our clients in thousands of dollars each month just to tell them what they don't know. And you will be surprised, we have been on some calls with Fortune 100 companies where they say, we are the leaders, right? We know everything that is happening around the corner. And I always tell them, I'm agreeing that you may be knowing everything, but who knows somebody sitting in Taiwan or China or Japan or in a small country today? in a research lab in a university or a startup is actually disrupting your space, and you'll be too late to even know it if they're doing it right away. Today, they're too small. Either acquire them or partner with them. If you do not do it today, 5 years down the line, if your competitor spots it and they buy it, how much disruption will happen to you cannot even imagine at that time. So market researches, market scans, making sure that you know your space. Even that assurance that you know your space, if it is coming from a third party, is an important thing, because then I know it. Somebody is confirming that I know it, and then we both are very sure that there is nothing in the market.
And there are no blind spots that you
Absolutely. And trust me, when founders say, or even I say to my team that I know the space, and somebody says, boss, this is the company that have popped up, let's watch out to them. And I'm surprised, okay, because in firefighting, day in, day out, in our own task, how much time you actually spend on your systems to look what is happening in the space. You do not, because you're too busy firefighting your own roles, your own things. You generally tend to ignore this thing, and that's where market research comes in, and how it is important for marketing. So we've used market research both ways, Kanika. We've used market research for our marketing team, because then we are giving relevant content to our team to make sure that our clients actually see we are doing what they want us to do. And second, of course, is market research for our own self, just to make sure that we know what is happening in our space. It's already getting crowded. How do we keep ourselves known enough that we are ahead of the curve? And that's what I think has helped companies like us to stay a little ahead of the curve, by knowing what's happening in the space. So it's both ways.
I totally agree. And in fact, recently I heard a founder, he said that, I'm not afraid of the big companies. I'm afraid of the small companies.
Absolutely.
Because they're so agile. Yeah. He said, I'm afraid of a startup coming and disrupting what I'm doing.
No, you're right about it. And again, this is again from our own experience. We've done some merger and acquisition studies with some really big companies in the last few years. You're right about it. You will be surprised, that when we suggest some of the startups that are happening in the space, our client has been market leaders for like over 5 decades or maybe, centuries. We've seen that, they're surprised by how small companies are working. So for example, this is again, I'm just citing an incident from this week that happened. So a client is looking for a sustainable solution, and by the EU regulations, European regulations, the things that they are making has to be absolutely plastic free. Now, they are the leaders in making wipes, that we use to wipe our benches and offices, desks and all.
Yeah.
Due to EU regulations, they wanted to shift it to something that is plastic free, circular economy served and things like that. And we did a small pilot with them first, just to show them that you're not even aware what is happening in the space. They, being the leader, said, okay, we'll give you a chance, just show what's happening. We showed them 2-3 examples. We've got a small Finland-based company who's using, what they're doing is, for example, the clothes that I'm wearing today, this is off my almirah or wardrobe. They recycle this, they do some processes on it and make like 100% circular cellulose-based wipes. That could have industrial usages. And they said, boss, we were already in touch with 3 companies. Can you now put us in touch with 10 such companies based that are coming out of your research? So from that I know all movement to this Eureka movement, of course, market research is what plays a role. And you have to give time. If you have to get heard, this market research is really important. That's where it starts.
It's important to really stay ahead of the curve.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
So I have another question. We've talked about the importance of market research. How do you, as an entrepreneur and also for your clients, make sure that the research that we are relying on, how do you ensure the accuracy of it? How do you ensure the reliability of it?
The accuracy of data is important, especially in the chat GPT world, when, whenever you see is a lot of time it's hallucinated data. We fall in trap with it because, again, marketing ho raha tha itna Insta pe, chat GPT, we thought, man, our jobs will be lost, karenge kya? And everything is being done in minutes. And then this is a year ago, I returned back from a US trip and I told my office that, boss, this is really scary. If AI will do everything, and what do we need? But then we realize AI is not giving you, as of most of the search engines, they don't tell you the sources from where it is getting the data. And your clients should always ask for the sources. How are you backing your data up? And then I think a lot of companies, including yours, would also do a lot of primary data collection, which is not even there on the internet. So these are few things that are really important. Getting the data is one thing. Validating the data is equally tedious task in this area. So how do you make sure that whatever data you are citing to your clients or in your marketing efforts or on your newsletters or in your social, what's the validity of it? Because today, if somebody takes a decision based on your data and tomorrow they're surprised that the data was not relevant, it's all going to come on your credibility.
Yeah.
So verification of data is important. So we generally ask our team to at least validate it 3-4 places at the least. And if they're not able to get 3-4 sources, talk to some industry experts, talk to thought leaders, get it validated from them. So while on a slide, it'll look like a one-liner, right? But the effort that goes behind it is much more. It takes days and days to validate that one line that you're writing on your deck.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a pointed question and I want to, then run it for audience. Is ChatGPT the answer to market research?
Not. So I'll answer it. It's a two-edged sword. You have to use it very carefully. For quick proposals, for quick interaction, understanding the client's requirement in the very initial stage. If you're new to that stage, how does it work? How does it's gonna get structured? Yes. But if you're looking for a really comprehensive studies, really comprehensive data that you could actually rely on, you could run and pure take decision that C-level board meeting that's happening in your office. I don't think so. ChatGPT has even come closer to that, and we have tested it on at least 100 projects that we've done in our office. We still do all the paid versions of this AI in our office, but we have said to our team that they cannot solely rely on what's there. They have to validate.
There's no validity of AI. We've done this ourselves. We actually got paid licenses to try it out. Then I'll pass on the efficiency to the client. It was the data was not accurate.
Not accurate.
It was not up to date.
It will help you fasten your work. It will help you speed up your work a little. But if you think that you can use ChatGPT to make some points, use another AI to make a slides, and you give it to your client as it is shown in Insta, it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work
at all. Okay.
And it's just not because we are in service industry or solutions industry. I'm saying it. Try it and risk your client. I'm sure they will also feel the same way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me come to a tool that you guys have actually created. Okay, because you're talking about research. How did you think of starting PatView and what does it actually do?
No, so what is happening is, when we were building the tool, we thought that, as websites have frequently asked questions, right? 10 questions out of 15 that are often asked. So we thought, let's make that 10 FAQs that we are being frequently asked by our clients in a tool that would at least answer that immediately. And for any customized solution, we can keep still serving them on decks or whatever. That's where this tool that we've created comes in picture. So we know that the searching space is even more crowded as compared to analytics space or the delivery space. So the product that we built a few years ago is more on the delivery side of it. How do you understand the data better? So it could be, for example, how my competitors working on the space, what's their growth trend, what of each of my competitor are focusing on, what are the white spaces they are still leaving that I could conquer in, how are they geographically penetrating, each of the product that they are trying to sell. So these are some, how is their, expiries coming up, till when they have protected the space from the freedom to operate perspective. So the fundamental 10-12 question that every CEO, CTO, senior counsel would like to know, we knew it because you've done about a decade in this industry. We know these are the often questions that will be asked. So we thought, let's put this in a tool first. And whatever custom questions that are still left that are, prone to their own research or they would like to just, get answers to them, we can still have the decks.
And how does it go to the client?
So it's like more like a SaaS kind of solution. So when we get a problem statement, of course we give them both as a part of as a solution, that this is a part of the solution that you've asked us. So this is very concentrated to. So for example, today, just picking the sustainability example again. So if today a client asks us that we want to understand the sustainability space a little better, so we'll just make sure everything relevant goes to this tool for sustainability. and they can make decisions out of it on sustainability. Let's say 20 different questions, which are often asked in the C rooms. And then the 5-6 questions that they would like from the chemistry angle, for example, the mechanisms of it, the processes for it, would again go in a spreadsheet or a PowerPoint or a Word file as the need may be.
So, Harit, as we're nearing the end of the podcast, I would like to ask you, what kind of changes do you anticipate we foresee in marketing, in market research, given the changes in technology and changing consumer behavior?
Yeah, I think दो तीन चीजें होने वाली हैं. First is, the technology will help you do things faster. You will see more content flowing in even faster now as it was before. With all these AI tools and normal tools coming in, this will keep happening faster and faster. But I think the core value would still be what would you like to deliver, the content, the research that you've done to create those 30 seconds or 30 minutes would be really important still in this arena. That will be my very important take. Second will be, that while this space is going to get crowded, the differentiator has to be built right from the scratch and keep building on it. It will be all discipline thing now. It will not be मैंने आज कुछ किया, कल कुछ किया, परसों कुछ और होगा. Consistency for a good amount of time, and then you start getting the result. It's not going to be that I post something today, it's going to get viral, and tomorrow I'll start seeing the result. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. And what can companies or entrepreneurs do? Any forward-looking advice?
Keep focusing on marketing. It's no longer a luxury department to run now. It is a mandate department as the social media and marketing are evolving. Trust me, your clients would actually, maybe before even your website today sees your LinkedIn pages or your Facebook or Instagram pages, than your websites. So that's what the priority has been set, and I think that will be really, really the key for the business runners to make sure that they kind of get it covered.
Perfect. That sounds like, you've just perfectly packaged everything that we've discussed. Thank you so much, Harit, for giving us this time today, and we're very lucky to have your time on such short notice. So I think I pulled in a personal favor there, and thank you for obliging.
Thank you, Kanika. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to this podcast today. I'm sure that this podcast answers some of your most burning questions to do with marketing and market research, especially for B2B companies. For more such content, feel free to follow us on different channels, the links to which are in the description below. Also, don't forget to leave your questions in the comments. I'll be very happy to answer them and to create content to respond to your queries.